You're chatting with a neighbor after Sunday service, or maybe sitting across from your financial advisor, and suddenly you hear it, "Oh, annuities." Don't go near those things. They're full of hidden fees. Maybe you nod, maybe you stay quiet, but deep down you're wondering, is that really true? If you've ever felt unsure about annuities, you're not alone. For something that's supposed to bring financial peace of mind, annuities sure get a bad rap. Some folks say they're too complicated. Others say they're only for the super wealthy, and some just shake their head and whisper, "You'll lose all your money." With so many voices shouting different things, it's no wonder you might feel stuck. But here's the honest truth: annuities aren't perfect. But they're also not the villain many make them out to be. Like anything in retirement planning, it depends on how well you understand the tool and whether it fits your life. And in this video, I want to walk you through 4 of the biggest lies folks believe about annuities, and the real truth behind each one. No sales pitch, no confusing charts, just clarity. Because the truth is, some of these so-called lies may be holding you back from a secure income stream that could last your whole life. And others? Well, they deserve a second look, especially if you've been nodding along to the fear without knowing the facts. Before we dive in, if you've ever considered an annuity or even avoided one based on a friend's warning, take a second to like this video and subscribe to Vibrant Elders. We're building a community of smart, curious retirees who want to live fully, not fearfully. And if you've got a story or question about annuities, drop it in the comments. I read every single one. All right, now that we've cleared the air a little, let us take a look at the first lie on our list. That annuities are packed with hidden fees. We've all heard the warnings. You'll sign something and then get nickel and dimed for decades. But what's really going on there? Let's break it down together, starting with what most people misunderstand about costs, and how one retiree turned a simple fixed annuity into years of steady, predictable income. Myth number 1. Annuities are all hidden fees. Let us start with a question you've probably heard more than once. Are annuities just fee traps waiting to drain your money? Maybe a trusted friend warned you about surrender charges or paperwork that lists endless penalties. It certainly sounds daunting when someone says, "You'll sign a 150-page contract and never know what you're paying for." But here's the good news: that reputation doesn't apply to every annuity. In fact, many fixed and indexed annuities offer transparent pricing, with no annual management fees or account maintenance charges. The catch that often gives them a bad name is optional add-ons like riders. You might see a rider for lifetime income guarantees, long-term care benefits, or inflation protection. These do cost extra, but that cost is usually clear before you buy. No sneaky tricks hiding in small print. Let me give you an example, Joan. A retired librarian here in the Midwest wanted a secure, no-fuss way to grow a chunk of her savings. She looked for a fixed annuity with no bells and whistles, just a clean base interest rate. The salesperson showed her exactly how much money would go in, what she'd earned each year, and that was it, nothing else. Unless she wanted it, a year later she wasn't surprised by fees. Instead, she had earned a steady return with no surprises and full peace of mind. Now you might ask, seriously, where are all these hidden fees people talk about? Most often, they come from misunderstanding surrender charges or optional riders. Surrender charges apply if you take out money early, usually in the first few years. They're not hidden. They're in the contract. And once the surrender period ends, often between 5 to 10 years, you're free to access benefits with no penalty. As for riders, they add extra functionality like inflation protection or enhanced income, but they also add to your cost. That's why it's so important to ask up front, how much am I paying for this rider every year? A clear answer helps you decide whether you're getting value or just paying for features you'll never use. If you'd like a helpful strategy, ask your agent or advisor for a no-cost hypothetical illustration or a net yield summary. This will show how much you're making after all fees, so there's nothing mysterious hiding behind the scenes. And if you want hard evidence, check out independent studies like Morningstar, which recently found many fixed annuities cost about the same as comparable low-cost investments. Once fees are accounted for, and some cost even less overall than actively managed funds once you factor in taxes and trading costs. So, In short, yes, some annuities can come with fees, but that's not because they're built to trap you. It's because you've added optional features, and with a little research, clarity up front, and a contract that shows base rates clearly, you can avoid those extra costs altogether. Myth number 2, you lose control of your money. Now, this one hits a nerve with a lot of folks. Once you give them your money, someone might say, kiss it goodbye. Maybe you've heard horror stories like that, people saying they couldn't get their money out or they were locked in for life. But let's slow down and take a closer look. It's true that annuities aren't like regular savings accounts. You can't dip in and out whenever you want without consequences. But that doesn't mean you're handing over all your freedom. In fact, most modern annuities come with built-in flexibility. You just need to know where to look. Take Harold, a 74-year-old retiree who used part of his savings to buy an annuity. A few years back, when his roof sprang a leak, he needed about $10,000 for urgent repairs. He was nervous about touching his annuity, but learned his contract included a 10% penalty-free withdrawal each year. So that year, he withdrew just under that limit. No penalty, no stress. The money was there when he needed it, and his income stream kept right on rolling. Here's how it works. Most annuities include what's called a surrender period, usually between 5 and 10 years. During that time, if you withdraw more than the allowed percentage, often around 10%, you'll pay a fee called a surrender charge. But that fee gets smaller each year, and once the period ends, the contract becomes much more accessible. Even during the surrender period, you're not locked out entirely. Most contracts allow partial withdrawals, some allow systematic income to be set up, and others even come with emergency medical waivers, letting you access your money without penalty under certain conditions. Now, of course, the details matter. A variable annuity might come with more strings attached than a fixed annuity or an immediate income annuity. For example, but with a little patience and a careful review of the paperwork, you can find out exactly how much access you'll have before you ever sign. One more thing, the idea that you lose control assumes that annuities are only for people who want to park every last dollar into one product. But most advisors recommend diversifying, putting a portion of your retirement funds into an annuity for income stability, and keeping the rest in more flexible accounts. That way you get the best of both worlds, steady income and backup savings. You can tap anytime. So the truth is, while annuities aren't built for everyday spending, they're far from a financial black hole if you choose the right type. Understand the surrender terms and plan ahead. You can still meet life's surprises without feeling trapped. Myth number 3, only low returns are guaranteed. So maybe you've heard someone say, sure, annuities are safe, but they don't grow your money. And it's true that the word guaranteed makes some folks think of measly returns that barely beat inflation. But let me tell you, not all annuities are created equal, and that belief might be holding you back from a tool that could work smarter for your retirement. Let's break it down. Fixed annuities do offer guaranteed interest. These are your classic, no surprises types right now. Some fixed annuities are paying between 4% and 5% annually, better than many bank CDs. It's not flashy, but it's consistent. And when you're trying to keep your nest egg safe, consistency can be gold. But here's where the confusion often comes in. Indexed annuities. These are tied to market performance like the S&P 500, but without the risk of actually losing money if the market drops. You might have a cap on your earnings, say 5% or 6% in a good year, but if the market tanks, your return just drops to zero, not negative. You don't lose your principal. That's a huge deal. Take Mary, she's 68, recently retired, and she was tired of roller coaster markets. She put a portion of her savings into an indexed annuity that was linked to the S&P 500 with a 5% cap. Last year, the market rose by 8%. Her annuity gave her the full 5% return, not bad for zero market exposure, and in years when the market slides. She earns nothing that year, but she doesn't lose a dime either. Variable annuities, on the other hand, are different. They do go up and down with the market. These might have higher return potential, but also come with risk and higher fees. So if growth is your main goal and you're comfortable with more risk, variable could be part of the conversation, but it's not what most retirees turn to first. And here's something a lot of people don't realize: annuities with income. Writers can offer increasing payouts based on performance or inflation. Even if your base investment doesn't grow much, that means your monthly check could get bigger over time even if it's not tied to wild market swings. All that to say, the idea that annuities only offer low returns is a half-truth at best. Yes, the guarantees are usually modest, but those guarantees are what make them safe. And if you're willing to give up a little upside, you can protect yourself from major downside, while still getting respectable growth. Coming up next, let's tackle a big one: the belief that annuities are just for rich people. You might be surprised how accessible they've actually become. Myth number 4. Annuities are just for wealthy people. You've probably heard someone say it, or maybe you've thought it yourself. Annuities? Aren't those just for folks with millions in the bank? It's a common belief, after all. The word sounds fancy, the contracts are long, and the people talking about them usually seem like they're speaking a different language. But here's the truth: annuities aren't just for the ultra-wealthy. They're actually designed to help everyday retirees turn their savings into guaranteed income. Let's start with this. Many insurance companies that sell annuities have minimum purchase amounts as low as $10,000 to $25,000. That's a far cry from needing $500,000 just to get in the door. In fact, according to LIMRA, nearly half of all annuities sold fall between $25,000 and $75,000. That's where most everyday folks are, not the yacht-owning crowd. Think about Linda. She's 72, widowed, and lives modestly on Social Security and a small pension. She had about $40,000 tucked away in savings and was worried about outliving it. Her advisor showed her a single premium immediate annuity, SPIA, that turned $20,000 of that into a monthly income she could count on. Guaranteed for life, that single decision helped her sleep better. She knew the rent and groceries were covered no matter what the market did. And that's the key. Annuities aren't about getting rich, they're about creating peace of mind. For someone without a huge pension or with limited Social Security, annuities can act like a DIY pension, providing a predictable monthly check you can't outlive. Even more, some annuities come with options that support smaller investors. For example, some indexed annuities let you put in as little as $5,000 to start and build over time. Others offer income riders that can grow your future payout while keeping the base investment relatively low. It's not about wealth, it's about strategy. A retiree with modest savings might need guaranteed income even more than a wealthy one. Why? Because there's less room for error. If you only have $100,000 saved and the market takes a hit, you feel that loss a lot more than someone with $1 million. So don't let the myth fool you. Annuities aren't velvet rope investments. They're tools, and like any tool, it's about knowing when and how to use them. The truth is, for many retirees, you don't need to be rich, you just need to be wise. Now that we've covered the 4 biggest myths, let's bring it all together in a way that makes sense for your financial peace of mind. Let's take a breath. If your head's spinning a bit right now, that's okay. Annuities come with a reputation, part mystery, part myth, and unfortunately, a whole lot of misunderstanding, but you made it through, and now you've got the truth. We talked about 4 big lies, 4 ideas that have scared a lot of people away from a tool that could genuinely support their retirement. First, the idea that all annuities are riddled with hidden fees. As we saw, many annuities, especially fixed and indexed ones, can be extremely transparent with little to no annual fees unless you add optional features. Jones' simple fixed annuity showed us that clarity is absolutely possible. Then we tackled the fear that you lose control of your money. It's a valid concern, but the reality is far more flexible. Many annuities offer penalty-free withdrawals, annual access to funds, and varied payout options. Harold's story reminded us that good planning means you don't have to give up freedom, you just need to understand the rules. The third myth was that annuities offer only low returns. We clarified the spectrum: fixed annuities, indexed annuities, and variable annuities all carry different return potentials and risk levels. Mary's indexed annuity earned her a steady 5% without exposing her to market crashes, a solid win for someone who values security. And finally, we shattered the idea that annuities are only for the wealthy. Linda Spia created a guaranteed income from a $20,000 investment, proof that you don't need a massive portfolio to create lasting financial peace. It's not about being rich, it's about being smart with what you've got. So, where does this leave you? Hopefully with a sense of confidence. Annuities aren't magical, and they're certainly not for everyone, but they're not villains either. They're tools, powerful ones, when matched with the right need and guided by the right advice. If you've ever felt overwhelmed or confused by annuities, just remember, the answers are out there. Talk to a trusted advisor, ask for clear illustrations, and make sure any product you consider fits your goals, not someone else's sales pitch. Before you go, give this video a like if it helped you learn something new today. Subscribe to Vibrant Elders for more retirement wisdom like this. And please, share your thoughts in the comments. Have you ever considered an annuity? Did a myth hold you back? You've worked hard your whole life. You deserve a retirement built not on fear, but on facts. And the more we learn together, the better decisions we make.